Hey, what's going on? Ryan here, setthebasetriathlon.com, doing a quick little Facebook Live. We're going to talk about pre-race jitters. Um, uh, if you've done a race yet, or if you're going to, you probably experience them more than just the day before the race, the morning before the race. Sometimes it can wake you up in a cold sweat, worrying about your race and everything that entails, and how you're going to do on that day, and how everything's going to go. So, I've got a few little tips, hopefully, that will help you out to get past your pre-race jitters, or at least kind of calm them a little bit so you can focus on having a good race out there. So, first of all, just accept that it's normal. I think 99.999% of people doing a triathlon or a long course endurance race or endurance race of any sort, even a 5K, I still get some jitters. It's just kind of natural. It's kind of human instinct. It kind of kicks up that fight or flight mentality and the adrenaline response that we all get when something is coming up that is going to require an unknown amount of energy or effort, or you just don't know how it's going to go and you're a little worried about it. Nature kicks in and gives you a little bit of extra adrenaline jump and makes you a little bit more jumpy and jittery than usual. So just accept it's normal to have pre-race jitters. It's no big deal. Jitters are actually kind of good. It just, it means that you're alive. If you don't have, especially if you're doing a 70.3 or a full Ironman, if you're out there and you just you're not really nervous about it, you're A-okay. It's good to be confident, but it's also a fine line to being a little bit overconfident and almost arrogant. We won't go that far, but if you don't have any pre-race jitters, you might need to check yourself for a pulse. Usually you're going to feel something, no matter, I've done 8 Ironmans, I've done 14 half Ironman races, more multi-sport events than I can count at this point, and I still get pre-race jitters before every single event. So if you're not getting the jitters or you're getting a little anxious, it's time to check your pulse and see what else is going on. Caffeine and sugar. I know we like our coffee in the morning. I drink my coffee in the morning, all doctored up to taste the way just as I like it. But too much coffee and too much sugar may not help you, especially, people get a little bit anxious, a little bit excited, and that kicks up the GI system. And if you add in caffeine, if you add in sugar, that could cause some issues in the GI and porta potties and all that kind of fun stuff. So just be mindful. If you're going to use caffeine, if you're going to use sugar for your races, probably not the best time to do it, pre-race, the morning of, before your actual race starts. Now, if you're going to do caffeine during the race and other things, that's different. But just know that caffeine and sugar are not going to help pre-race jitters and anxiety. It is probably going to amp them up a little bit. So just be careful about the caffeine and sugar intake. Find a distraction for that nervous energy. I wish I had some of my little, you see me kind of sitting around and moving around, the little fidget spinners you see kids got, and they got a little fidget cube or whatever. If you need something to just kind of keep yourself occupied, just a little bit of that nervous energy at bay, there's nothing wrong with, twiddling your thumbs or doing something or bringing something along that just kind of distracts you a little bit. I'd avoid the phone. It is a total distraction and could completely occupy you and cause problems. You still need to be aware of what's going on, but find something to kind of put that little bit of nervous energy in, so you can kind of focus on something else. If it's a fidget spinner or a fidget cube or something, just steal it from your kid for the morning of the race and take it with you. So just find something to kind of make just a little bit of distraction, kind of keep your mind just a little bit off center of what's going on. Also, what you want to do is find something positive to use that energy for. That kind of goes into the next point. Is pre-planning really helps, especially when you're amped up. You got all that adrenaline rushing through and you're anxious about your race. Have a plan, so that way, and write it down days before of, this is how my morning is going to go, and this is all the things I need to do. Get your stuff out of the, your nutrition out of the fridge, your hydration out of the fridge, or wherever you're keeping it. Pack up whatever you need to pack up last minute. Make a list, make a plan. I want to get up at 4 o'clock. I want to have breakfast at 4:10. I want to take a shower at 4:15 or whatever. Put my race tats on in the bathroom at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, whatever your schedule is. Write it down, have a plan. That way you can use that anxious and nervous energy on accomplishing your plan and being ready for a race day as much as possible. So you have a plan that is a positive use of that excess energy and gives you a place to kind of laser focus it in, so you're not running around with your head cut off and losing your mind and then causing a whole bunch of panic, and especially if you got spectators and Sherpas going with you. If you're losing your mind and they start losing their mind, you all compound of each other, and it's just not a good deal to have everybody anxious and nervous and running around in a little bit of a panic. So have a plan, focus that anxious and nervous energy on that plan, kind of helps you laser in on that plan. Sometimes I recommend a very, very small race morning, just a small little set of sprints or something, or jumping jacks, or just nothing near enough to wipe you out or overexert yourself, but just to get a little bit of energy out. Just maybe a little bit of run, some jumping jacks, jump up and down a little bit, just something really small to get just a little bit of energy release, so you can just take the edge off just a little bit. So sometimes that kind of helps out. Flying by the seat of your pants doesn't help out. That's why I mentioned going and having a plan. So if you're just going out there and you're winging it, you're like, I kind of threw everything together the night before, and I'll pack everything up. I'll remember my race wheels. I'll remember my bike pump and stuff that's down in the basement. If you're flying by the seat of your pants race morning and that anxiety, that anxiousness hits, that extra adrenaline pump and push in the morning you're going to get from the pre-race jitters, it could cause a problem. If you're flying by the seat of your pants and suddenly you're trying to remember everything and then you can't remember this, or you forgot that, and you're in the car driving down the road and you're like, oh crap, I forgot this, that, and the other, because you're flying by the seat of your pants, you thought you could remember it all, and you got to race morning and you didn't remember it all. That's definitely not a good recipe. That is very suboptimal for a good start to your race day. So don't fly by the seat of your pants. Have a plan. And I kind of alluded to before, anxiety will affect the GI system. So have a porta potty plan. I don't think I made a video on that. Maybe I should do one of those next. Most races have plenty of porta potties, but there's going to be lines no matter what, because guess what? Everybody else has pre-race anxiety and jitters too, and they've had their morning coffee, and you compound that stuff, and then there's going to be long lines at a porta potty. So just plan on it. So, make your plan. Personally, first thing I hit, I drop off my stuff in transition, porta potty. Do whatever I need to. Maybe one more porta potty stop, and then about 20 minutes out from the time they close transition, try to get one more stop in if I need it, and I'm good to go. So just be aware that those pre-race jitters and anxiety will probably necessitate a few more porta potty stops and a few more pit stops in the mornings than you're kind of used to. So just be ready for that. Here's one. Now, I personally use, this may or may not be for everybody, I use Pepto tabs. I like them because you can chew them up and just kind of coats the stomach a little bit, because you're anxious, you've got anxiety going on, you've got jitters, you've got adrenaline. It kind of stirs up the stomach acid a little bit, and it makes you anxious, at least for me. So just doing one little Pepto tab or something like that, and just chewing it, just kind of coats my stomach, and it kind of helps with the GI distress in the mornings with the jitters and everything, especially if you're doing coffee or anything like that. It kind of just coats it and makes my stomach settle a little bit. So Pepto tabs is actually a benefit for me on race morning. I don't do it very, like I said, I don't use them for race morning really. It's something that helps me. It may not be for everybody. Definitely don't try it out on race day as the first time you ever tried a Pepto tab and see if that helps you. Just try one out if you think that's something that will help you, but that's just my personal thing. I just want to chew a little Pepto tab, and that kind of coats my stomach, reduces stomach acid, and kind of reduces anxiety overall. And the last tip I want to leave you with for pre-race anxiety and jitters, now to manage it, is don't psych yourself out dreading about it. You'll have jitters, you'll have anxiety, and it'll kind of build up closer to race day, especially if you got 70.3 on Ironman, it's the first time doing one, and you just don't know how it's going to go. You're going to have it. Just don't psych yourself up the week before being like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about how I'm going to feel, and the adrenaline and the anxiety and the jitters. It just compounds. So just be aware it probably will happen, but don't fight. You're going to expend more energy trying to fight the jitters than actually experiencing the jitters and just kind of going with the flow. Like I said, having a plan is the best way that I've found to get rid of the jitters. Is you write everything. I write everything down. I can't remember anything. So I write it all down, and that way I have a plan. And race morning, I know I have my plan. And as I'm going through the week and the day before, I'm writing it all down. Don't forget air pump. Don't forget hydration in the fridge. Don't forget you fill up a water bottle full of water to wash off your feet during transition. It's in the fridge or something like that. just have a plan and realize that those jitters they're going to happen. Don't psych yourself out. Don't get all worried about the jitters. So you're worried about the jitters, and then the jitters are making you worry about the race, and it just compounds and makes it not very fun at all. So just know that they will come. It's normal. It's not a big deal. So hopefully these tips kind of help you out and kind of give you ideas to kind of at least tamp them down a little bit. You will have jitters. In my, 2004, this is 21, so in my, 17 years of doing endurance racing, I still get jitters every time. I've not found the perfect end-all cure, and it's not experience that gets me through a race. It's, the excitement of a race, and are you going to PR, or you think you're going to do really well. Those are the things that may add to the jitters or whatever, and the reason for the jitters may change over time, but hopefully these tips kind of give you a good idea just to kind of handle them a little bit so they don't overwhelm you and don't psych you out for race day. So if you got any other ideas, questions, quagmires about pre-race jitters, or you have anything to add that I didn't hit on, put them in the comments, and I would love to hear about it. So until next time, happy training. See you later.